Hey everybody, it's I Want to Be Retro. Today we're going to take a look at setting up Apache Guacamole with LDAP Authentication in Docker. To get started, log into the host that we're going to install Docker on. We'll use apt-install to install a few prerequisite packages required to install Docker. Then we'll add the Docker GPG key and apt repository. Next we'll use apt-install to install Docker, Docker Compose, and Containerd. With the Docker packages installed, we'll set the Docker service to started and enabled, add the current user to the Docker group, and re-authenticate the current user for the group changes to take effect. We now have Docker installed and running. We'll create a working directory for the MariaDB container and set the owner of the working directory. Then we'll use the docker pull command to download the latest Apache Guacamole image. Using docker run, we'll start our MariaDB container. Then we'll temporarily run the Guacamole container and extract the MySQL database setup script. Next we'll use the docker exec command to connect to the MariaDB container, then log into the running MySQL database as the root user. We'll create the Guacamole database and database user and set the permissions, then flush the MySQL database privileges for the changes to take effect. Then exit the MySQL shell and import the Guacamole schema using the exported SQL file from earlier. Then we can exit the docker exec shell. With the database now created and configured, we can run the guacd container. And finally, start the Apache Guacamole container. Note here, you'll need to update the LDAP environmental variables for your Active Directory setup. With the Guacamole container running, open a web browser and navigate to the DNS or IP address of the Docker host :8080/guacamole. Log in with the username and password guacadmin. Click the menu drop down at the top right and select Settings and then Users. Click the New User button. Create a new admin user and grant all available permissions. Then click the Save button. Select the menu at the top right and log out. Click the Re-Login button and log in as the new admin user we just created. Select the menu drop-down and then Settings and Users again. Then select the guacadmin user. Scroll to the bottom of the form and click Delete and then Delete again to confirm. Click the New User button. Enter the username of the LDAP user and leave the password field blank. Then select the necessary permissions for this user and click Save. Click the menu drop-down at the top right and log out. Click the Re-Login button. This time log in with the LDAP username and password. The user should be authenticated against the LDAP server we configured. Now we can go to Settings, Connections, and create a new connection. In this example, I'll set up a simple SSH connection to my Ubuntu server Docker host. With my connection created, I'll click the menu drop-down and then Home and select the new connection. We now have our Apache Guacamole server set up to authenticate against LDAP running inside a Docker container.